My son lived for 122 days. He was born at 28 weeks, weighed 1 pound, 9 ounces. For 4 months, we basically lived in that hospital. We memorized the rhythm of all the machines. We celebrated ounces he gained like championships. But he never left the hospital, never got to experience the warmth of the sun on his face. And just like that, he was gone. Tragedy has a way of stripping titles away from you. It makes you wonder, what really lasts? I was a medical doctor, a public health professional. I had dedicated my life to preserving life, but I couldn't save my son. That hits hard. It makes you wonder about your existence and your place in this world. I took my time and really tried to think about life and what I wanted to achieve, all based around my son and his struggle. And then I realized something. Life goes on. During those times, I really thought about the type of life that I was living and what I wanted to achieve with my life. And I thought about examples I had, people that were great, people that I admired. And after my son passed, Dr. Thomas Jones came to mind. Dr. Jones was the first black ophthalmologist in Baltimore. He helped integrate hospitals at a time when that really took courage. He happens to be my wife's grandfather. At his funeral, no one asked or talked about how much money he made. They shared stories about the type of man he was, how he bridged gaps, how when they were in need, he was there to help them. How if a person needed medical care and couldn't afford it, he'd see him anyway. He was famous for accepting pies as payment. This picture hangs in my home. It's a picture of Dr. Jones during Dr. King's March on Selma. He's not in his office. He's on the ground, serving. This picture serves as a constant reminder that to whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. Legacy is a word that I looked up, and it said that the first definition was an amount of money or property left to a person in a will. And then I took a step back and paused, and I said, if legacy is truly something that we leave behind when we're gone, then what are we building while we're still here? What does that person look like while they're accumulating whatever they plan to leave behind? Are they happy? Are they fulfilled? Are they just grinding? And I thought about his legacy and what it meant for our family. And that helped me grow. It helped me see things a little bit clearer. After my son passed, I actually stopped practicing medicine. I know it sounds crazy. All of that hard work, dedication, debt, delayed gratification. My family was proud. My community was proud. I was proud. But sometimes the mountaintop is quieter than you expected. And then you realize maybe that's not where you were put on earth to do. So shortly after he passed and I stopped practicing medicine, I realized that although I was making an impact, I wasn't truly happy, and I wanted to pour into people. So a few months later, I found myself standing in the middle of a classroom, traded in my white coat for dry erase markers, agreed to run a biomedical program for high school kids. I didn't realize it at the time, but that classroom is where my legacy would come alive. She walked in without even knocking. Hi, I'm a genius, and I'm going to be a doctor. I kind of looked at her, sized her up a little bit, and said, I doubt you're a genius, but I'm not either. But if you really want to fight this fight and go down this road, I'll go down this road with you. Her name was LaShaya. She was full of ambition, but didn't have a roadmap. And like many of my students, I saw brilliance buried behind barriers, dreamers without a map. LaShaya fought for every inch. I'm talking about after college, completing a 2-year post-bac program, doing a provisional year at medical school before they would even give her full admission. She truly had to fight and prove herself before they would even give her a chance. But today, oh, baby girl is in her 3rd year of medical school. And we are still connected at the hip. From the outside looking in, it's easy to see how I was able to support her during her journey, but what's not as clear is, while she was forging her future, I was rebuilding mine. People ask me why I left medicine, and they assume that it was due to systems. That's part of the truth, but I was depressed. I wasn't running away from medicine, I was searching for meaning. The students I had the honor and pleasure of teaching saved my life. They literally saved my life. They gave me meaning when I needed it. And I realized legacy is not about accumulation. It's about activation. It's about bridging the gap and standing in the gap for folks. It's about opening doors wider than they were open for you. It's about carrying someone's dream until they're strong enough to carry that dream on their own. I used to tell my students that I'm going to live forever. They laugh, crack jokes. You know, high school kids can be brutal. But one day I asked them, I said, will you remember me? Will you remember what I poured into you? The students began to talk about the lessons learned, the victories, how we handled defeat. And I stopped them and said, see, I am going to live forever. My body will turn to dust and, I'll go away one day and put me out in the pasture. But what I poured into you will remain. The impact will remain. Many of you will share it with your loved ones and your children. Through you, I will live forever. All of this led to me forming Prime Med Academy, where I'm proud to serve as founder and CEO. Yeah, we provide biomedical instruction, but what we really do is build bridges. And bridges turn into belief, and belief changes trajectories. So now as we scale across the country, partnering with school districts and community-based organizations, it's not the revenue that really excites me, it's what it represents. More classrooms, more access to untapped potential, more Lashayas. So let me leave you with this. If your fancy title disappeared tomorrow, if they removed you from that beautiful corner office overlooking the water, if your income went away, who would still rise because you believed in them? That's legacy. Standing in the gap, bridging the gap, being of service. So let me leave you with this. The question is not whether or not you'll leave a legacy. That's not the question at all. The real question is, who will live forever because you believed in them? Thank you.